Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters. Zone 5/6. It is a beautiful sunny day today. You guys gotta let me know if everything sounds right. Here's the sound check. I planted tomatoes today. Yes. Okay, what was the sound check? I had to think of what to say. But guys, it is seed starting time, okay? The pretty much everything is a go now. We are 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. Okay, thank you, B. Hendricks. Yes, we are whispering about tomatoes. It's 6 to 8 weeks before last frost, and it's go time. Everything is pretty much ready to go, okay? So we want to be planting, for the most part, most of the stuff. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, all kinds of good stuff. But the only things that we're not going to be is if, for some reason, some of you want to start cucumbers and squash indoors or melons indoors, which, okay, I mean, you can, definitely. They're more bountiful if you direct sow them, but some people like to do it starting them. So for those, I would wait until 4 weeks before the last frost. Okay, those are the only thing that we are not going to start right now because we don't want them, they grow so fast and we just want to barely get them started up. But man, these vines are going crazy right now. It's because I said that I'm ready to terminate them. And so now they heard me and they are doubling their efforts. So, okay, guys, what are you growing? What do you got started? What is going on where you're at? Wow, you guys have been having good conversation. Nice. Hello, Sophia Renee says peace and blessings. D. Bax says good morning, everyone. Have a lot growing in the garden here in Northwest Florida. I'm sure you do. Nice. Let's see here. Got to get everything situated. Wickshire Project says, we did seed trays here. Normal abundance for common garden varieties. Tomato, eggplant, peppers, peas, beans, all herbs. Nice, nice. Later on, we go full force and direct sow the corn, melons, and squash. And April 21st, huh? Here, it's not, our last frost is not until about the middle of May. May 15th is what it's technically. But you know what, guys? And I'll get into this more later. And I was going to make a video on it, but things happen and stuff. But, the heat-loving stuff, it's best to just wait a little bit. I know that you hear me say this all the time, but by waiting up until the last frost, okay, so May 15th, so that's exactly when I'm going to plant all my stuff. All my heat-loving stuff is on that day. Or if I can get it 5 days sooner, I'm going to go ahead and risk it. But then what happens, and how many of you know this? And I got people hitting me up all the time saying, Nate, what do you use for frost covering to protect from frost? I said, I don't, because I plan it correctly. I don't cover anything. I never have to worry about, oh no, there's a frost coming. It's going to destroy everything because I just wait. And so for most people, they're over anxious. And so we need to relax. We need to watch the natural cycles of things, and we need to give it plenty of time. You're not going to gain much of anything by starting 20 days earlier, 10 or 20 days earlier, really pushing it. And then people get out there and they got blankets all over their stuff. How many of you have done this? Got blankets or sheets all over everything, and they're just hoping that they don't lose their entire crop because they were impatient and they started too early. So that is the advice, guys, is to only plant the cold hardy stuff. The stuff, onions and the brassicas, all the stuff that can take a nice solid freeze, no problem. Yes? So let's see, CyberCert says, Nate, what cold loving crops do you direct sow outside before last frost? Direct sowing before last frost would only be carrots, beets, and peas. That would be it. The rest of them, I will start indoors. Yes. Got a little bit of a different tea today, guys. Yes. Jasmine flowers. Delicious. I didn't grow these. I had to get them from the co-op because we can't grow jasmine here. Jasmine flowers and the delicious chamomile. Guys, start the chamomile. And if you've got a 72 cell tray, then you can start chamomile in that. Just fill it all up with the soil and then just sprinkle chamomile all over the place. Chamomile seeds are like dust, basically. So just sprinkle all over the place, yeah? And then they'll all come up and you can get it, all right? Splattercat says, the slurping. Oh no, the slurping. Oh, guys. Yes, I'm so sorry. Look, and this is also the new secret ingredient for the tea, ginkgo. Yes, I'm giving it a try, some loose leaf ginkgo. Do you guys have experience with ginkgo? Drinking it like a tea or consuming it, or what are your thoughts? So Big Wes, he's got the right idea, says, not starting anything yet, too cold still, making biochar and playing with the compost. Yes, that's the ticket, all right? Is to... And a lot of people are asking me, Nate, what? Okay, it's 2 months before last frost, so what things should I be doing in the garden? Well, absolutely, well, not absolutely, but pretty much nothing. Because if you do it right, all the spring garden prep is done in the fall. We put everything on the beds. We put the beds to sleep nice and orderly and methodically with all the good stuff that they need. And so they are going to just sit there and marinate and digest and become very happy all winter long. So come the springtime, we're 2 months before last frost. I haven't done anything outside yet. The garlic's coming up and everything is just still there. Everything's fine. Everything's great. But now about 2 weeks before I plant, especially the cold hardy stuff, which I'll plant about 1 month before last frost. So I'll plant in the middle of April. That we will, about 2 weeks before we plant that, so about the beginning or the first week of April, we're going to rake the mulch back and put down some black plastic or landscape fabric is fine. So, and then that's going to warm the soil, and then we are going to plant our cold hardy stuff, and then we are going to, after a few days or a week or two, we're going to put that mulch back over the soil. Yes? And that leads me to, I have to answer this question real quick because somebody asked it, Jane B, she asked this with a donation on the PayPal, so I want to get to it. She says, hi Nate, this is Jane. Love your channel, so thankful. Sorry we missed the live. Any chance I can ask you a couple questions? Made the awesome seedling fertilizer, zone 5B deep in the West Virginia hills. But how often to use? Once a week, all the time, etc. Okay, so the seedling fertilizer then, you're talking about the compost extract with a bit of the leaf mold, maybe some of the fish fertilizer from the video that I made. You can use that once a week. That should be just fine. If you have even once every other week would be fine. They only need a few times in their lifespan. Now, if you didn't add the worm castings to the soil and you just use like a seed starting mix, or you made your own without putting worm castings in there, then you're going to need to fertilize pretty much right away. And so every week is going to be adequate. But if you put plenty of worm castings in there, 20% give or take, then that's going to be most of what the plants need anyways. So go ahead and do it that way. Now, number 2 says, tons of poison oak around here. Wonder if I have some in the leaf mold. Does it matter? It will not matter to the plants or anything. It will only matter to your hands and to the irritation. Yes, so I know this very well. We don't have poison oak around here, but we have poison ivy, which is way worse than oak. When I was out in Northern California, we had poison oak. And people was like, oh no, I got poison oak. And I'm like, psh, man, I grew up with poison ivy, which is 10 times worse than oak. So it was just like a mild skin irritation as opposed to poison ivies. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I would not worry about it unless you're worried about the irritation. And then the last question that came with the donation was, I found a big roll of landscaping fabric in my barn. Can that count as black plastic for getting my soil charged up before I plant? So thankful for you. Really opened my world. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, you can. That definitely counts. It does not have to be plastic. In fact, the fabric is better because it does allow the air to breathe, yes. But or the soil to breathe a bit, but black plastic is perfectly fine, and the landscaping fabric can work, yes. So thank you for the donation, okay? let's see. Okay, Mick Hegarty. Yes, I got your donation for the walking onions and the Tahitian. Definitely. Guys, I've been getting a lot. So it's thankfully most of them are done electronically. So I've got the records for all of them and stuff, but everything is coming along good. So yes, Mick got you down. No problem. So yeah, I know. Mick says, dang, that was fast. I just hit enter. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's totally insane how this technology like this. So yeah, if you guys want to make a donation in any way or get the walking onions, that's a good way to do it because then the old YT doesn't take a cut of it. So we can get more into the operation here. So let's see. Val says, do you have to thin the chamomile? Do I need to thin basil seedlings? Basil seedlings, here's what I do. I will plant in a, basil is one of the few things that does really well when you plant in a big tray. So like if you had a 10 by 20 or a 10 by 10, then you can sprinkle tons of basil in there real thick. I mean, real thick. And once it sprouts, it's going to be like a carpet of green. Then once they're about this big, you can take that and you can gently pull apart plugs, or pull apart little sections of it, little clumps of it that have about 10, between 3 and 10 little basil seedlings in it. Plant that whole clump. And then a foot away from that, plant that whole clump. Another foot on all sides, plant that clump and that clump. Like that. That's the way to do basil. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll see I have phenomenal basil harvests, and I make pesto so that we take it all season long. We are storing it in the basement in the freezer so that we're eating it all winter. So that's the way to do basil. But that's just the way to do it that I found over the years. But the chamomile, no, you don't need to really thin chamomile. No, because not all of them will take. Chamomile is kind of weird. I mean, chamomile, not all of them will take. It's actually, chamomile can take down to like 0 degrees. And so you can actually plant it in the fall time. That's a great time to plant your chamomile outside. And it will grow a little bit. And if you plant it in like August or September, then it will grow a little bit and then overwinter, which is pretty awesome. And then it will grow right now. I got chamomile coming out of dormancy right now. Let's see here. I wanted to see if anyone had any, or if anybody said anything about the ginkgo. If anyone had any. Look at you guys, all supportive. Lisa T says, haha, slurp away. Jeffrey says, I love the slurping. Yes, guys, it's calming. It's like ASMR or AMSR. People pay money to hear somebody, like that, okay? So that was free of charge to you guys, all right? I wanted to see if anyone said anything about the ginkgo, though, but it's hard to kind of find. So, anyways, CyberCert says, I planted spinach a week and a half ago. Right now, they are being sheltered under upside-down clear totes because it's snowy. Yes, good luck with the spinach. Guys, spinach is very temperamental in the sense that it will bolt. It will go to seed if you live in a place like here where most people think that it's the heat that makes spinach bolt, but it's not exactly. It is the differential between the maximum temperatures, between the highest and the lowest. Once that gets too high, then it bolts. So it's best grown, like commercial spinach farms and stuff are in like Washington and Oregon, the parts where it's nice and cool and consistent and temperate. Because once you're in northern Indiana, once like early summer comes or late spring, we can have a day that's 85 degrees and a night that's in the 40s. I mean, it just boom, just like that. And spinach bolts, that's it. So, yeah. Masabi Gal, that's correct, says chamomile seeds like to sprout. Yes. So chamomile, just sprinkle on top. Remember, it's like a dust. And so you just kind of sprinkle it all on top, and there we go. And then water it in, of course. Andre Puskas says, "Hi Nate, my fish amino acids, 2 weeks old, made by your instructions, have some white spots like a mold or something. It doesn't smell at all, but I am worried about how it looks." Also sent a picture on the Discord. Okay, good job to send the picture on the Discord, but that's perfectly normal. So I am taking pictures of mine as we go because so I can show you guys. I would have liked to have that when I made the video, but I didn't. It takes a long time. You know, I didn't film it. The last batch I made was before I made this channel. So I didn't know I was going to become a professional gardening YouTuber. Yeah. But the... So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Some mold, it's going to be just fine. And isn't it delightful how it just doesn't smell? Crazy. Aaron Johnson says, "But Nate, your calendula chamomile rosehip salve is done. Sending soon. I will appreciate that, my friend. Tell me how to use it as well, okay?" Let me see here. I think I got another email from one of you guys. Okay, Robert D. the third. Yes, thank you very much, my friend, for the walking onions and the tip. I appreciate that. Says, "Thank you for all the info. Has leveled up my gardening skills tenfold." Listen to that. That's what we like to hear. That's what it's all about. He's growing more food and he's learning these skills. Guys, once you learn these skills, that's it forever. I mean, you have these skills. Skills are one of the things that people that never get taken away from you. You can't lose them. You can't. They're just such a valuable thing to learn. That's why I love when I recognize that somebody's got some skill or knowledge and they really got it that I want. I'll go full force into it. I'll buy all their books. I'll watch their seminars. I'll listen. I'll take their course if they've got it. I'll fully submerse myself in it and then just absorb all that. And it's just wonderful because then you've got the skills and you've got the knowledge and it never leaves. So, okay, Robert, I will put you on the list as well. Thank you. Hello, T-Mac. Good to see you. And let's see here. I'm going to scan up a little bit. I still can't. I'm still looking for the stuff. Lisa T says, "Nate, you can put those houseplants on the porch when it's warm enough and invite your guests to take as many cuttings as they like. It's a great welcome. Spreads the plant health and gives." Absolutely, Lisa. That is a wonderful idea and something I already do, of course. And I've got like a dozen starts in mason jars so that when someone comes over, "Hey, you need a plant. Look like you're needing another plant." And I give them to them. Yes. Naturally by Darla says, "I start hardening off the middle of May, doing it slowly over at least a week, usually closer to 2 weeks." Yes, that can work. That can work, definitely. Hello, Nancy. Nancy, thank you for the connection. I hooked up with that lady in Chattanooga, and it looks like we'll be doing a JDOM seminar in Chattanooga on April 27th at 4:30 p.m. So I will be there. It's at some. I will tell you guys, like, if anyone's anywhere near the Chattanooga area, that'd be cool. If you want to come to the seminar, then there will be all kinds of cool stuff. You know, we'll talk about. We can meet in person and stuff like that. And so yes, you can go to that April 27th in Chattanooga. Mick says, "Don't forget to check out Thrive Like a Viking channel. The same benefits for my garden have been happening for my personal life. I have been able to give up a prescription that I was on for close to 20 years. That's what we like to hear. And that is the power of the mind. And once you unlock the power of the subconscious, everything becomes possible." So yeah, every Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the Thrive Like a Viking channel, we do a Thrive cast where we talk about all things thriving related. Gardening, growing your own food is one crucial element of it, but there's so many more things to the holistic experience of thriving in this life. So, yes. Sophia Renee says, "Viking meetups would be cool." Yes, definitely. Well, especially in the next handful of years or so, when the school starts happening and all that, there will be a place that is like, okay, you guys can come. There will be, we'll schedule out the whole year as far as what courses are going to be offered when, and you can make your travel arrangements or whatever. And there will probably be dorm type housing there. I'm seeing something like that. And there we will be able to do in-depth, in-person stuff where you can learn these skills. So, yes, Bushcraft Baron says 100% on the Thrive Like a Viking channel as well. Ties directly into all of the healthy elements with natural gardening. Definitely ties directly in. Let's see here. Alex says, good morning, Nate. I have some labs that is at least 2, if not 3 months old in the refrigerator. Should I toss it or what? Thank you for all you share. Alex, so 3 months in the refrigerator, it's lost a lot of its potency. I would put it on the compost pile and start fresh. Labs is something that you want to make smaller batches, but more often. And if I could show you guys, well, I forgot to bring it over here, but I've got the thing that I was using for kombucha, the same glass vat. I've just been doing raw milk labs in it. And I'll just pour the raw milk in there and it separates, and then I can just drain it off the bottom like that. Yeah. Cookie Monkey, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, good morning, Nate. 8B, NFL. Newfoundland? How do you say it? Already using the fish fertilizer on the garden. Harvested cabbage this morning. What are your thoughts on planting by the Almanac? You know, my thoughts on that are, I'm sure it's a wonderful practice, but I don't have experience with it because that's not how my thing works. I do everything by feel. And so I just feel when the time is right to plant everything, and it just happens when it happens. And so I've tried several years to like plant by the moon and stuff like that, and it just doesn't work for me because I can't do that. Say, okay, Tuesday the 12th of this is when I'm going to plant. Because what if the plants aren't ready? What if the soil's not right? What if it's just not right yet? So I just go by feel. Ooh, I like that. Big West says, bring an instrument to the Viking school. Donate instruments for future groups to use. Percussion instruments are fairly inexpensive for putting into the toy box. Definitely, guys. I love the djembe circles. Oh, all the time. We would be doing that. So yes. Aaron Johnson says, can you make labs from buttermilk? Buttermilk is not the same thing. No. Buttermilk is not really. It's best to just drink buttermilk. That's the best. Blackbird Schoolie, yes, says, going by feel is the only way to go, in my opinion. Trying to use charts can get you in trouble with the unexpected things nature loves to throw out there. Is exactly right. Exactly right. It's so rigid, you know, it's just so rigid. So that's, yes, that is absolutely right. Itamar Toribio says, hello, Nate. I watch all of your videos, but I'm not on your live often, but I give it a like. Question, do you use rock dust as a fertilizer soil amendment? Definitely you can, yes. My favorite is going to be azomite. Yes, there's so many different minerals in there, and it's easy to use and breaks down fast. It's already powdered. So a very expensive one would be like green sand. Very expensive, very difficult to mine and stuff like that. Not difficult, but it's just very expensive, you know. And so yeah, you can just kind of stick with azomite if you feel like you need to. That's one of 17 different things that the Viking granular nutrients has in it. So Blackbird Schoolie says, we're super busy in our gardens right now. I'll get you some updated pics ASAP. Been working at the shop a day and coming home working the gardens throughout the night. Yes, I get it. Good to hear you're staying busy. I'm glad you found that place for the season. Wonderful. Yes, Elizabeth says, Thrive Channel is a wonderful self-care addition. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for all your continued support. Haven't gone to the P.O. box yet. Been very busy yesterday and today, but I will very soon. So I look forward to the package. Thank you. Rose Halpin says, Nate, squirrels eat everything in my garden. Can I pre-start corn and sunflowers in the house so the squirrels don't eat the seeds? You know, sunflowers, it's possible, yes. Corn, it's possible, but that's just not the way to do it. You're going to want to. The better way to do it is to create a space that is impervious to the squirrels. That's what you need to do. So wherever you're going to put your corn, you need to make a small fence, or you need to make something so that the squirrels can't get in. That's just what you're going to have to do if you want the most bounty. Yeah, starting corn, because corn has just got the root system that is not going to like that. Teresa Dura says, Nate, I bet your feelings, as you are in tune more than most, align often with moon cycles. You know, I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. When I was living in Northern California, totally off grid, you know, living in a teepee for 2 years, and then like a shack for a couple years. I mean, just really in tune with the earth. And I always knew exactly where the moon was, like in its cycle, waxing or waning, coming or going. And I always noticed how everything, the animals, the plants, the weather, everything gets more electrified as the full moon approached. And then the couple of days surrounding the full moon was amazing because it was so bright and we were so far out that we could just do things at night when it wasn't 120 degrees in the greenhouses. It was pleasurable to work at night. And so we could do things and see, it was just awesome. So yeah, very much so got in tune with the moon living out there. And then you feel how everything breathes. You feel how the nature kind of, breathes. It becomes quiet and sort of hidden when the moon goes away. And as the moon comes out, all the creatures are like stirring and they're more active. And even the wind is different. You just notice all these subtle things. And the way that you feel inside is just different. It's so fantastic. So once that kind of spirit gets in you, it never leaves. It never leaves. So now sometimes, even though I'm like city dwelling at the moment, in this brief time period in my life, before we get back to the land, I look at the moon sometimes when it's the full moon and I just, wow, man, just like an old friend. It's amazing. So, Ronald Bay says, me and spinach have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, definitely. No doubt. So guys, grow instead of spinach. Listen, here's the tip among all tips. Grow shijimisa instead. Watch the video that I made, plant these varieties for 2024, and plant shijimisa because it doesn't bolt. I mean, it will at some point, but it's super heat tolerant, super cold hardy, tastes just like spinach, and grows much more vigorous and healthy and big and robust. So that's what I recommend. Jeremy Ransom says, Nate, we propagated more blackberry plants to make more jam, but we are also going to try making homemade syrup and mead. Nice. That sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful. And if you guys have any cuttings you would like to send me, don't hesitate. Look, we got here fig trees. We got some Chicago hardy figs. We've got the blackberries, a certain type of blackberries. We got 2 different kinds of blueberries. Now, one of these blueberry plants supposedly gets like 6 feet tall, and they've got blueberries the size of cherries on it. So we have got a bunch of fruit plants. We're going to get a bunch more. We're going to get more from you guys, sending them to the P.O. box. And we're going to get a bunch of fruit trees, and we're going to make a fruit orchard this year. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I started 144 of the alpine strawberries, and we probably got a third of those to actually sprout. So strawberry seeds are difficult to sprout, turns out. But we're still going to have like 30, 40 strawberry plants. But look here. Finally, the rosemary has taken. Now, it was getting nursed along for some time because We've had a very mild winter. Usually the rosemary totally dies because it can only take about 10 degrees. But we had a super mild winter, and then there was like a freeze coming. So I took a bunch of cuttings, and it wasn't the right time, but you can tell that they've started growing again. They've just finally started really popping off. So they're rooting. I mean, pretty much all of them are rooting, are growing now. So so there's 8 of them. Ooh, they got a lovely smell to them, but they're very, very easy to propagate, rosemary is. So, Saint Max Media says, please, please make the video about compost tea making. Definitely. We are going to make that when the time is right. We are going to make that video, and you're going to use that all season long, and that's going to be a fantastic, okay? Thank you, Sophia Renee. $5 says sending love. Thank you very much, my friend. Right back at you. Okay, another one. Donald Hellenbach. Thank you, my friend. Says, gave me so $25. Thank you, Donald. Says, great to see live stream in real time. A question for you. The ginger, 2 10 by 20 trays that we started late January are now 3 feet tall. Listen, guys, he started the 10 by 20 in January. They're now 3 feet tall. Do you have any guidance on the container size for up potting when they are moved outdoors? Would 3-gallon grow bags be appropriate? Many thanks and keep up the great work. Okay, thank you. So Donald sent a donation to the PayPal with a question. That's how we like it right there. And so thank you. And yes, here's the thing about ginger. I haven't even started it yet. I know. Because, and I was all about starting it super, super early, but I found that if all your stuff is right, meaning if you follow the video that I made and you've got the heat mat nice and hot and you use that plump ginger, that stuff will sprout so fast. The first several years, it took months to sprout because I wasn't doing it right. But now that I got the system down, it sprouts fast and it grows fast. So last year, our ginger, was like 3 feet tall. And then I put it outside, and one of the places was in full sun, even though I hardened it off a bit, not enough. But one of the places was in full sun, one of the places was in half shade. And the full sun immediately roasted. Everything just cooked immediately and all died. But then the stuff that was in the half shade up against a north-south privacy fence, it did amazing. And here's what you want to do. Ginger is a rhizome. Remember, it's not a root. It is a rhizome. And so it is going to want to spread outwards. So if you've got ginger like that, what you want to do is get a pot that is more wide, that focus more on width than shallowness. So I use the 30-gallon fabric grow bags, and they're in my Amazon storefront. Use the 30-gallon use the 30-gallon fabric grow bags, or regular pots, whatever it is, and make sure it is super nutrient rich. All right. Because I did several different experiments over the years, and then last year I used the Viking granular nutrients, and I put in a lot, to see, okay, can I overdo it for ginger? And no, it just grew like crazy up against that north-south fence, and just watch I'm sure I made a video. I know I made videos on my Instagram about it, but man, it just went crazy, and there were rhizomes popping out of the ground. And I usually harvest, and the ginger you harvest is kind of small and stuff. This wasn't, dude. This was huge, thick chunks of ginger. And the ginger that you grow yourself is super tender. It's not that fibrous stuff like from the store. You can actually just eat it. So, man, that is the way to do ginger, okay? So I hope that answered the question. And 3 gallons is not really, you're not really going to get much from that. That's not, I mean, it could, but you definitely want more space. I would just acquire more space. Yeah. So, thank you. Let's see. CyberCert says, nay, I germinated lots of alpine strawberries. Cold stratify, I didn't know you had to cold stratify them on a coffee filter, placed on moist paper towels in baggies in the fridge or freezer. Then germinate under light, then transfer to cells. See, this is why you guys are here. Okay, next year or next time I try, if we have to try again, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Blue Wolf says, I put my strawberry seeds on a heat mat set at 77 degrees and got 100% germination. Baker Creek, baby. They are wonderful. Yes, mine were from Baker Creek as well. But you know what I think happened actually is that, well, I know it happened, is that, seeds that you put on the surface have to be stayed consistently moist. And so I planted them and then got them going and everything. And about 2 weeks into it, I went to Chattanooga for the consultation, or Cleveland. I went to Tennessee for the consultation for like 4 days. And I came back and they were like bone dry. So I'm sure that it was like maybe even a month into it. So I'm sure that really hurt a lot of them. So. Okay, St. Max Media says, always cold stratify strawberries. Very true. Okay, wonderful. That's good to know. Nancy says, last year I loved the ginger. I am tripling the amount for this season. Yes. Case says, I don't know when to use the ginkgo solution. I made 5 gallons. So you're talking about for pest control, right? Well, you can use it as a preventative, or you can just use it as a cure. But really, so we will apply the aerated compost teas this year. And you can put in some of it with that, because we foliar the aerated compost teas. All right. So the anaerobic ferments, remember, if you watch my recent video, we don't foliar with those anymore. I've changed my tune on that. Okay. I've changed my tune on that, but we will, with the anaerobic ferments, we hit the soil, all right, deep into the soil. But the other ones, the aerated teas, is what we will spray on, so we can add some of that when we add those teas once a week, give or take. Harvesting Faith says, I missed the first half. What'd I miss? Hey, do you have an Instagram account? I was trying to tag you the other day, but I don't know if you have an account. What is it? So guys, if you're on Instagram, check me out, tag me and stuff. Okay, we got to wake that Instagram back up. I haven't done much on there in a while, and the algorithm is frowning upon me, okay? Check this out, guys. So if you watch my seed starting video, you will see that over the winter, I grow microgreens up top, and then down below, I have made a mushroom growing area in the same place. And so it's just using the ambient lighting. It's wonderful, all right? But I thought that they were all totally done by now. But then all of a sudden I saw some yellow things in there, and they went a little bit too long, but look guys, some nice yellow oysters here. So I look down there and the buckets are like overflowing. There's still a bunch of these yellow oysters. So guys, if you're not on the mushroom growing train, I know I didn't make the video this year, but maybe next year or this coming fall, I will make one. But it's so easy to grow these. And once you inoculate them and make the buckets, you've got like 3 months or apparently even more, like 5 months of them fruiting. So there's like no telling what is going to make them want to fruit more. So these ones I made yesterday or I ate them yesterday. Yeah, this is more like how you want them. Do you see how they're all standing up straight and they've got the trumpet? They've got like the trumpet. They're like wanting to get moisture and stuff. This is more how you want them. These are overdone. You see how they're splayed downwards? These have already let go some of their spores. They're still going to be super delicious and very nutritious and good for you and delicious. But these are the ones, that's how you want to get them. See how they're nice and erect still? And they've got the trumpet shape. Yes. Okay. So we're going to put these back in. But also right next to that one, okay, I saw and I was like, wait a second. I thought these ones were done too. And look at this fat boy lion's mane. Oh yeah. Look at that. This was just sitting down there right in the seed starting mix. Now, I didn't see it, okay? I didn't see it in time, so the top of it released its spores. And that's what happens when it releases its spores. It releases the spores and then it kind of decomposes because its life purpose is done. So this would have been a little bit higher and more bulbous, but I let it go too long. But you can see, look at them big, long, shaggy mane on this thing, guys. That is gonna be so delicious. So when people are paying like astronomical prices for, you know, lion's mane extract and stuff that's ground up and put into your coffee that's got some tiny little microgram of this into the coffee and it's super expensive and all that. All those extracts and tinctures and everything like that, guys, people for the most part are trying to sell you things. You know, there's nothing and there's no study that anyone can show me that would in any way make me believe that any of those products are superior to just eating the whole fruit, the whole thing. For all of its cognitive improving capabilities, how it works to stimulate the myelin sheath around the nerve endings in the brain, which helps to combat neurodegenerative diseases. This is what you want. You just eat this thing, not raw. I mean, we fry it. We can do all different kinds of stuff like this. Or we can make tincture out of it if we want to, or we can dehydrate it, grind it up into a powder, and encapsulate it. That's a really good way to do it. All right. Cultivate Life says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how hard to grow mushrooms in general? Well, hardness, I mean, that's a tricky question. And because it could be, so long as you prepare everything right, then it's like a 3. I mean, you just sit there and let it, you just make sure the humidifier is going. You just make sure that the environment's right. But you have to get the inoculation process correct. You have to get it so that you don't contaminate the buckets. But once the buckets are fully colonized, then you don't have to worry about it. They're just gonna fruit when they fruit. And then when the warm weather comes, you can set them outside into the shade somewhere and they'll continue to fruit. So if you guys want these kind of things, let me know and I will make a dedicated, video in the fall time about growing them. But we are going to inoculate some wood chips with the wine cap mushrooms this year. So I will show you guys how to do that. That'll be coming up before long. We're going to use wood chips and the wine cap mushrooms. So yes, this is what we're doing. Wendy Crane says the wine caps end up showing up everywhere. They're so easy. Hey, that's what we like to hear because we're going to do it. RK, yeah, supplements can't compare to the real deal. No, they can't. Anyone that tries to say otherwise is selling you something. Big West says, nobody around here has the red wigglers and don't know what worms they even have. Question, can anyone suggest a good red wiggler supplier online? Canadian preferred, but any good source is great. Jim's, isn't it like Jim's Red Wigglers or Jim's Worm Farm? It's something about Jim's. I forget exactly, but that was the one that I was going to go with. So that would be a good one. Jody Forzani, $13.99 Canadian. Thank you, my friend. Says, hi, Nate. Just wondering your thoughts on neem oil. I priced a load of it before I discovered I piracied a load of it before I discovered your Viking wisdom. Okay, so neem oil, it's very effective and it's fantastic. Yeah, it can be great. It can be another natural fertilizer. I mean, you don't make it yourself. You have to buy it, but you have to buy supplies to make your own fertilizers a lot of times anyways, or your own pesticides. The only drawbacks, when I was in Northern California, we were using neem, many people use neem. Now it does leave, it is hard to get off the plant. It does leave a taste. Yes, that's it. Nemesis at Uncle Jim's Red Wigglers. That's the place that I would use. No, I'm not affiliated with them. So the neem oil would leave a residue on the flowers, the buds, and so you could taste it. And the vegetables, when you grow, you can kind of taste it. So I just don't use it anymore. I don't use it anymore because it doesn't really become a fertilizer. So if you're using the JWA, the Jadam wetting agent, that breaks down very quickly. I mean, it's effective on any soft-bodied creature, and then it breaks down into a potassium fertilizer. And so the soil microbes can break it down very quickly. It's easy to digest. There's no residual. It rinses off really easily. So that's why I prefer to use that. The Jadam pesticides all double as fertilizers. The neem oil doesn't really double as a fertilizer. So I just can't stop looking at this thing, guys. So we're probably just going to slice this thing thinly in half, thin into sections like that. And then get some butter to the point where it's almost smoking. And then sear it like that for a couple of minutes till it's crispy on each side. And then probably just some salt. And that's all we need. And we'll eat it like that. That's how I like most gourmet mushrooms, is just doing it like that. Oopah. So, RK says, if you spray, it will stay. Been getting away from neem for other methods. Yes, it will stay. It will stay in there. Definitely if you're growing, certain plants. Once the buds start to appear, do not hit it with anything like that because it will stay. Wendy Crane says, wine caps like shade and humidity. They need food. Wood chips will help the mycelium spread, but they pop up in the lawn too if the grass is tall. Nice. So that's what we're going to do. Put the wine caps with the wood chips. Naturally by Darla says, I do it by feel as well. I also talk to the plants from time to time, or from the time I start the seeds until they die off from frost. Neighbors think I'm nuts. Ha! Well, they're the ones that are nuts, actually. Meyer Lemons, wine cap mushrooms outside in the shade. Yes, definitely in the full shade. That's where we're doing it. And I'll show you the area where we're going to do it. Meyer Lemon, I remember last week you said you had a question you asked several times that I forgot to answer, and it was about should you inoculate greenhouse beds with natural mycelium or with natural mycelium, or should you purchase the sterilized mycelium? And in a greenhouse, essentially we're going to treat a greenhouse like it's outdoors. It's a combination between the two, but I'm talking indoors, like in the basement or in a warehouse. That's where we need to be concerned about bringing in the undesirables. In a greenhouse, though, you can still definitely use high quality leaf mold. Yes, that's the way to go. If you're doing greenhouse beds, inoculate it with the good high quality leaf mold. You don't have to worry about purchasing the super expensive strains of this or that. You just want to go out into your local forest and get the high quality leaf mold, okay? So, I hope that answers it. I hope you heard that. Ed Taylor says, hi, Nate, new subscriber here in Central Illinois. Question, I have the eggshells steeping in vinegar per your video. Can I just dilute and water into garden beds instead of using as a foliar spray? Yes, absolutely, you can. However, calcium is a nutrient that is... well, I need to brush up on this, but I believe calcium is immobile, meaning that it doesn't readily translocate in the plant once the tissue is already grown. Okay? So once the tissue is already grown, it won't move it up from the soil so much into the plant. I need to brush up on this, but I'm pretty sure this is digging way back into my knowledge. But I'm pretty sure this is the way it is. Calcium is immobile. So when you spray it foliarly, you're giving it directly to the area where it's going to use it. And so that is important. That's why a lot of people, they don't get their blossom end rot cured and stuff like that, because you need it to go right directly. Once the plant has already been grown, the tissue's already there. It doesn't just suck up calcium from the soil. All right. So that is, I'm going to double make sure that all that's true, but I'm feeling like it is based upon knowledge from like 10 years ago. And I will re-comment about that next week. But that's why it's important that we do foliar spray it. Or you can add it to the soil from the time they're tiny. But once you already see something, then it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Big West is right. Arborist wood chips are the best. They have the leaves and the whole above ground tree in there. It helps break down when the whole plant is in it. Definitely. If you can get arborist wood chips, that's the way to go. That's what I'm going to need to do. Definitely. Meyer Lemon says, thank you, Nate. You're the best. Real leaf mold is going into the greenhouse beds. Definitely. Yes. I'm glad we got that sorted out. So guys, if you like juices, I have juices all summer long. All right. I will make juices. The main thing that I will get, and I'll make more recipes on it this year, shorts probably. But you will see once the garden comes into full swing, the only thing I really buy is a huge bag of organic green apples. And that's what I'll use for the sweetness, but then I will use everything from the garden. So I'll use cucumbers and leafy greens and beets and carrots and just all kinds of good stuff. Mint as well. But in the off season right now, okay, so we're making fresh juices all summer long. But in the off season, which is what we are right now, this is actually what they call the hunger gap. Okay, so it's the time when pretty much all of your storage of stuff, your potatoes and your sweet potatoes and your squash and your onions and your garlic and all that stuff has pretty much been used up, or it's starting to sprout again. The potatoes are finally starting to go soft, and even though there's not much left. So it's called the hunger gap because all your stuff is used up, but there's nothing growing in the garden yet. And so there's that area. Oh yeah. So if you still want juices, here's what I recommend, guys. This one is amazing because you can go to Costco and you can get you a pineapple for $2.70. Okay, so I don't know how anyone's making a profit on that, but that's awesome. So we'll get a couple of these, and here's the ticket. Is that I love I'll juice the entire pineapple and mix it with spirulina. All right. The spirulina, and the two go together wonderfully. If you don't like the taste of spirulina because it tastes like stagnant, rancid pond water, which it can, then combine these two. So juice this whole thing and then put in like 3 huge tablespoons of the spirulina, and they balance each other out, and it is super delicious, vibrantly green colored, giving you all kinds of good liquid sunlight, giving you all kinds of good stuff in the spirulina. And the digestive enzyme bromelain in the pineapple is very soothing to the digestive tract. And so it's a wonderful juice. It really is. And spirulina can be difficult to digest if you're not accustomed to it. But with the pineapple, it really helps the assimilation. So put these two together, guys. It's fantastic. So the hunger gap, yeah, it's a real thing though, because there's the only thing coming up in the garden at the moment are the green onions and the chives and the garlic, but the garlic's not ready for a long time yet. So we can use green onions and chives right now, but that's about it. All the potatoes are used up. So, yeah, but animals are always available. And so that is why typically wintertime is a lot more meat based, just naturally, and for me as well. I'm eating meat every day, red meat every day, pretty much. And it's phenomenal. And now that will transition a bit as the hunger gap closes and the garden starts producing. I'll still have the meat, but the portions will be smaller, and it will be a little different. And there will be tons of vegetables, grilled patty pan squash with the allium char. There will be the grilled collard greens, the grilled beets. There will be the grilled carrots. And just, guys, watch the videos I made last year on the cooking, and you know that I love it. It's an art form, and it's so delicious. And we eat with the seasons. That's what's important, is that we eat with the seasons. So during the hunger gap, we're eating mostly meat. And in the wintertime, we eat the storage crops, potatoes, and sweet potatoes, and winter squash, and mushrooms, and that kind of stuff. When the springtime comes, we're gorging ourselves all summer long on the shijimisa. We're making stir fries constantly. As soon as those peppers start coming in, we're making stir fries with peppers. We got 5-10 different kinds of peppers growing, and it's so lovely. Every day in the summertime, once dinner time comes, you just go outside and with a huge basket and just okay, well, what are we gonna eat tonight? And it's mostly stir fries in the summertime, or a meat and then a grilled vegetables. And so we'll just go out there and pick. We'll have some collard greens today, a couple of beets. We'll have a couple of peas. It's just a fantastic lifestyle, guys. So I'm getting really joyous just talking about it. So, Jeffrey says, Nate, did you notice the new opaque bootstrap farmer domes do not fit their 1020s like their old clear domes did? I don't know. I don't use domes. I don't use domes because I found that they just proliferate mold. So if you got a grow tent like I do, then you can manipulate the environment enough. You don't need a dome. Although I should have used a dome on those strawberries. But anyways. Let's see. Farmer Cheryl says, thinking of juicing my pineapple scraps from eating and juicing to make FFJ. Hoping this will avoid using molasses or cane sugar. It will not. You can use the pineapple scraps, but you have to use sugar. When you're making Korean natural farming is steeped deeply dependent upon the use of sugar because it relies on the osmotic pressure like I talked about last year. So yes, you can use the scraps of all your pineapple and stuff to make the fermented fruit juice, but you will need the sugar. There's no substitute for it. Molasses and none of that. Wayne Caroli says, that grow tent set up in Nate's video is spot on. Thank you again. Yes, I'm glad you got it. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Nancy, yes. Oh, wait. Val Thatcher, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says, hey, Nate, thank you for all you do. Sent $40 for the onions, but didn't give the address. That's right. That's right. And I have it here on my list that I needed your address. Okay, thank you. Much love. Likewise. Thank you, my friend. Also, there was I thought that there was, let's see here. Okay. Anyways, let's see. R says, your channel is my favorite. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Yes, you're very welcome, my friend. Please share the channel. Yeah. 5F45D says, yes, it's the lifestyle. This is the way we're supposed to live. I'm in an apartment, but can use information to help in community garden. Yes, this is the lifestyle. Definitely. It's such a wonderful thing when you can just go outside in your bare feet and pick the food that you're about to eat that has been grown in soil that you know is bursting with life and so that your produce has got all the nutrients that the body needs. Anything you could ever ask for is there. And so it's such a wonderful feeling. And to be able to share it with others. So Jeffrey says, did you notice the bootstrap? Oh, yeah. No, I did not know. Yeah, no, I already answered that. Jerry Jr. says, can I replant my Walla Walla onions from last year that didn't cure right and have green tops now and soft bulbs? Yes, if you want to keep the seed. Yes. Remember, I said this last week, and you take the onion, bury the whole thing up until so just the green tops are coming out, and it will do its thing. Cover it with some mulch. Yes. Fabrizio says, hi, Nate. I'm having trouble switching to flower for those type of plants. Wink, wink. I changed my lights to a 12 over cycle, but all that happened is that the leaves started looking weaker and yellow. Okay. So how long did they spend in veg? There's all kinds of questions that come into play. How long did they spend in veg? What kind of wattage are you running? How close are the lights? What kind of soil do you have? There's so many different things, guys. But so they will trigger. Sometimes it can take several weeks before you even see the first signs of it at all. It can take several weeks depending on many factors. So yeah, you could send some pictures to the Discord chat. I'll check them out. Ooh, Stonemason says, do not use pineapple FFJ on plants. It acts like a weed killer. Pineapple is the only thing I have found that does this. Wow, I didn't know that. See, I don't make fermented fruit juice really because we don't grow fruit around here. We do some, but it's not like the tropics where Korean natural farming, even though it's like Korean, K&F, relies, it's more for like fruit farms and stuff in the tropics. They require pallet loads of sugar to do it on scale. And it's all about fruit and fruit trees, using fruit and all this kind of stuff, and bamboo and stuff that we just don't have here. So that's the thing. So I've never made pineapple, fermented pineapple, because we just don't grow it here and we don't have enough of it, and I don't think it's going to help. But the fermented plant juice, which you'll see in the next week or two, is fantastic. Plum Smart, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says, I can't quite see the question though. Why not? It says, hi Nate, just wondering your blank. Then it says, there's a big sticker that says, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. This isn't your first super. Yeah, sorry, Plum Smart, I can't see that, but thank you very much for the $10. Plum Smart says, is my Jadam sulfur and calcium acetate still good from last year? Absolutely, yes. So long, the sulfur and the acetate, yeah, because they're not microbial solutions. They don't rely on biologics. So yes, they will still be good. But the calcium acetate, you want to make sure that it didn't start growing a bunch of mold. And if it did grow a bunch of mold on it, it's because you didn't bake off the stuff. You didn't bake off the protein enough. That's why we bake it off. Taylor Reindl, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says, no question, just showing love. Thank you. Yes, this is an energetic exchange. So I give you my energy and time. You give me a symbolic representation of your energy and time. That's a wonderful exchange. Thank you. Meyer Lemon says, love, love, love morels. Absolutely. I do love morels. Lock It In says, try 1113. Man, I've never had any need whatsoever to do anything other than 1212. I mean, there is no need to do that. You can go 11 or even 10 the final week of flower. The final 10 days of flower helps to speed up the ripening process, sometimes depending on the genetics. But anyways. Wendy Crane says, I don't like to grow those types of plants indoors. They grow better outdoors and taller than the fence. I'll try light depth this year. Outdoors is the way to go. Outdoors is the way to go for all plants because they need the earth. They want to be connected to the earth. The electromagnetic discharge that is happening between the atmosphere and the earth, the grounding, all of this stuff comes into play with the quality of the final product. That is why back when I was in that life and stuff many years ago, the only stuff that I would consume was stuff that I grew totally organically in the ground, full season. I wouldn't even use the light depth stuff. Just the stuff that naturally, and it gives such a different experience. All that's out of my life now, but I found it makes a huge difference because the stuff that was grown indoors is all, with chemicals and artificial lighting, and it's forced into induced flowering and all that stuff. It has a real kind of bzz, effect on the mind. It all is related. So Queen RB says neem oil can work as an insecticide, but has to be under 80 degrees. And Nate's right about staying on the plants. Yeah, it does. It stays on the plants and it can burn the plants because it's a really thick, it's an oil that stays on there and it will burn the plants. So, oh wow, 5F45 says, I think I found your channel in my feed after searching electroculture with copper wire. I'm trying to learn more. Well, then I won't say anything about it. You can watch my videos and you can watch a bunch of other guys' videos if you like, and then you can experience it this year for yourself. Queen RB says, FPJ, LOL, too many acronyms. What does that mean? Fermented plant juice. It's different than FFJ, fermented fruit juice. Yeah. Tushi G, good to see you here. I think it's been a while, my friend. Says, question, when I purchase from your Amazon storefront, I am supporting you, right? That's correct. Thank you very much. Guys, if you want to support the operation here and see it grow and expand and all of that, then support the channel in any way that you can. So one way that you can, if you're already going to buy stuff from Amazon, is to just use the link in the description of the video, my Amazon storefront, to get into Amazon. And then anything that you purchase in that, so long as that browser window stays open, credits my account, which is fantastic. So that is, and that's what we use to experiment with buying stuff like these expensive kind of bootstrap farmer trays and all of that. So yes, that directly supports the channel. It's a small yes, and it doesn't cost you anything at all different, but yes, it definitely supports the channel. So even if it's not an item on my Amazon storefront, if you just go into Amazon through the storefront and whatever you buy, so long as that window is open, will contribute. So we might as well let some of that money, keep some of that money from Amazon, let it come to us. So, I mean, I even have my dad's calling me like, hey, I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to buy on Amazon. So I need to go through your links, right? Yes. So he empties out his cart and then gets it all back in there and stuff, just so it can all go towards the operation here. Yes, Andrea Brown says, that's cool. I thought it had to be on your list. I'll make sure to make my purchase through your storefront. Yes, thank you. Just anything that you're going to get. Big Wes, I'm glad you said it. I'm not even going to read it. It says, let me save you. Everyone's talking about, man, save that guy some time. I know. Mom Computer says, Nate, come on, help him. Save him some time and money and frustration. But it's good to, watch my results video, electroculture results. But some people, it's, and I'm one of those people, I will hear someone even see a video and stuff, but I still need to experience it before I can know for sure, because I'd be thinking, well, maybe he was off. Maybe that will, until I experience it, I don't know. So, yeah. Kip Tap, $10. Thank you, my friend, says, for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Scarecrow Valley, good to see you here, my friend. Stone Mason says, high microbes in the soil is the best electroculture. Ditch the wire. Ultimately, guys, there is nothing that you can possibly do to improve on nature. And the soil microbes bursting with life, yes. People want to try. I still get comments all the time on those electroculture videos. People trying to school me on how I didn't make the sky motor wound in the right direction. See, what we're trying to do here is harness atmospheric magnetism. And man, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're just saying these words because you watched a video and you think it sounds cool and you think it might work. But you're not. Show me your plants. And nobody ever does. Nobody ever does. And if they do, then it's lackluster. And I'm like, okay, well, I wouldn't be bragging about those results, guys. I would just be quiet about it and make some compost instead. But no, everybody wants to have the quick fix. Well, if you just make these sky motors and then it's going to grow. No, the plant is already doing that. The plant is already the most perfect antenna that can be because it's designed in this system, in this life support system. It is designed that way. The plant is already harnessing atmospheric energy along with many other things. And it's already the link between the soil and the sky. between the earth and the sky. It's already the link. So there's no amount of copper. Look, I even keep it here as like a joke, but yeah, I put this there. I mean, this is the exact one I had at my mom's garden last year around the pepper plants. Nothing. I mean, of course, nothing, but not even like, oh, well, just a little bit different. No, not the slightest bit of difference. I'm not even going to go into it again. I get into a passionate rant about that because it's people that are just diverting the attention away from what actually matters, in the gardening world. And the gardening world is to understand the cycles of life, to understand how the earth grows things, look to nature and to see how the earth grows things. It doesn't stick copper wires in them. It uses manures. It uses soil-based fertility in the fall, and it grows a nonstop cycle of regeneration. It is so magnificent. We just have to watch and observe. It's such a human thing to think that let's just mine a bunch of copper and then make them in these geometric patterns with crystals and all kinds of stuff, and that's going to do anything. Oh, Mom Computer says no electroculture and no Fiskars. I forgot about the Fiskars. Don't get me started on those. So, DTV, do you use mustard as green manure? You can, absolutely. Yes. Yes, you definitely can. Yes. In fact, this year I'm going to use it as a green manure crop. A same season green manure crop. We're going to plant it in the next couple weeks, and then we're going to till it in, and we're going to plant some heat-loving stuff in there. Yeah. So, Val says, love me a Nate rant. Yeah. Well, I get kind of passionate about some things, and I forget that I'm like live, and hundreds of people are with us right now, and I just keep talking about the passion. So, anyways. Mark Bass, I hope you're kidding. I hope you're kidding. So let's see here. JB, $5. Thank you, my friend. Says, would it be safe to start in-ground garden in a new housing development on what was cornfields, East Coast, with what I think is sandy clay? Definitely, you can. Absolutely. So it's probably just reclaimed cornfields. So it's going to be very depleted in the microorganisms and the life. And you're going to want to make sure that you get that microorganisms happening. So I would use leaves if you can, but if you're in a new housing development, you probably have to have the kind where it's all, tucked in nice and clean and stuff. So you'll probably want to use raised beds. That's what I would do. I would get you some raised beds started and just do it that way. Hey, thank you. Jennifer Mitchell, $5. Thank you, my friend. To the PayPal says, hey, Nate, can you remind what the proper dilution rate is for the calcium acetate and also for my crazy rich 2-year-old everything fertilizer? Kicking off my growing season in 8B. Yes. Oh, okay. Spray can art. Thank you. Maybe I shouldn't have read your name. Sorry. Okay, so let's see, the proper dilution for the calcium acetate. Now, in K&F lore, in tradition, it is 1 to 1,000, which is less than a teaspoon per gallon. That is 1 mil per gallon, or per liter. That's not much. Okay, so that's like a teaspoon per gallon. Now, personally, I will do like double or even triple that. I'll go a tablespoon a gallon, and it doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt anything whatsoever. So if you're not doing it that often, you can just use a little bit more. So even 2 teaspoons a gallon, we'll say, is going to be perfectly fine. And if you've got the crazy rich 2-year-old everything fertilizer, which is awesome, then yes. So if it's crazy rich and you know it's crazy rich, start with like a 1 to 100. But make sure you're not hitting the leaves, okay? We're going to hit the soil only. If you're hitting the soil, there's a lot of leeway in it. You can do 1 to 50, all right? You could do 1 to 50 and be fine. So start with 1 to 50. That's what we're going to say. And just gauge the reaction of the plants and everything. So if you got a 55-gallon drum, add 1 gallon of it and add, the appropriate amount of the calcium acetate. You can do them at the same time, and you can apply it to the soil. If you're doing the aerated compost teas, as you will see, I'll give you guys lots of different techniques and options. So right after the tea's done being brewed is when we're going to add the calcium acetate, right before we spray. Urban Gardener's in the chat. What's up, my friend? Guys, check out his podcast. He's always doing all kinds of cool interviews with the gardening community. We did one 2 weeks ago. If you haven't watched that one, go back and watch it already. A lot of good conversation that we came up with, different from the stuff we talk about here. So, and Jay Dixon, good to see you here as well. He's the moderator for the Urban Gardener. Ooh, Queen RB says, Greek Mountain Tea seeds just arrived. Ironwort, you're going to grow it? Going to start them today. Soil is not the same and not near the sea, but in a Mediterranean climate in Oregon. Okay, cool. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool. I'm glad that you are growing it. They call it the ironwort, right? I swear that I got another, I'm going to have to check. I have to check for this tip because I don't want to miss any of that stuff from you guys. Okay, I thought that I got one from Nancy, but I couldn't see here. But anyways. Let me see here. Okay, we got it. And so guys, well, hold on. Just got to hang on one second. Well, I can't find it. So if it is, sorry. Because we're live. So, let's start. Ooh, Scott Murray, $10. Thanks, Dad. Need to be getting you a garden this year. You could grow some tomatoes. We'll grow in buckets. Guys, I'm going to be doing because where the sauna is right now, where the wood-fired sauna is where I'm going to, because it's a sauna tent. So I'm going to take that up and then I'm going to put a bucket, 5-gallon bucket garden. So I'm going to do a little tutorial on how I like to do the 5-gallon bucket. So if you have to grow in 5 gallons buckets, then I will show you the good way to do it. So what things in the 5 gallons would you guys like to see grown? So it'll be partly experiment, but I'll just show you guys the difference between a tomato plant. We'll plant 2 purple bumblebee tomatoes, one in the 5-gallon bucket and one in the ground. And then to all the people that say, I grow tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets and they're great. Okay, I'll just show you the difference. This one, okay, maybe that's your definition of great, but in the ground is going to dwarf. I mean, it's going to be 6 feet tall and it's going to have hundreds of tomatoes on it, whereas the other one is not. But anyways, so the Urban Gardener says, thanks for the shout out. Thanks for helping us launch the show this season. James Prigioni on today. Oh, nice. Yes, he is very cool. Hey, put the bug in his ear, man. We should do some kind of collab. I don't know what, but it'd be cool to do a collab with him. I'm all about collabs, guys. So, but I'm finding that there's not a lot of people wanting to collab for some reason. Wayne Caroli says, what is the ratio for the calcium acetate? Is that 50-1 also? No. Remember, 1 to 2 teaspoons per gallon of water. That's it. Okay. Pam, good to see you here, my friend. Says, thank you, Nate. I made about 5 batches of the liquid calcium acetate. No problem, but the last batch had a white stuff on the surface. So before I make another batch, I will bake for longer. Yes, that was the ticket. That was the ticket. So, ooh, that's not a bad idea. Will Dog says, let me come up and we'll build a wicking bed like the ones I have for your bucket garden. Ooh. I'm trying to think how that would look. How would that work? I'm going to put a brain cell on that. Tushi G says, 5-gallon buckets, grow bell pepper, please. That'll be great because I'll grow a bell pepper right there and then 5 feet away, I'll have the exact same strain of bell pepper growing in the soil. And that way we can just put it all to rest. Man, I swear, I'm like distracted because I thought that, okay, Nancy, yes. Okay, I got you. Got that $50. Thank you very much, my friend. Says gas money for your trip to Chattanooga. Look at that. Very thoughtful. I appreciate you, my friend. And no doubt I will be seeing you down there. So guys, remember, on the 27th of April at 4:30 at the, I forget exactly where, it's in Chattanooga though, Community Garden Center or something, we'll be doing a live in-person thing. So get your tickets for that or whatever. If you guys are even remotely close to that area, that would be cool. A little meet and greet. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah, I know. Jay Dixon says James Prigioni is in high demand. Difficult to get time for a collaboration. Oh, I know. Definitely. Especially when there's such a massive gap between the size of channels. His is maybe 1 million by now, or maybe even more. I forget. And mine's not, you know. But that's fine. That's fine because I have absolutely, I have just supreme confidence that this channel is just going to grow and proliferate to an absurd degree in the next handful of years. So no worries. If people don't want to collaborate now, not a problem. We got our own community here. So, but yeah, no, I understand. People are really busy. And I can't even imagine a channel that size because even me, I'm getting emails constantly. But it's mostly just like little businesses in China that want me to peddle their trinkets, you know? And so obviously I'm not doing that. And so they're like, hey, let's collab. And then they get aggressive with it. If I'm like, hey, I've reviewed your product and I don't think it's a good fit for my audience at this time, then they will literally email me immediately back, like within minutes, and say, okay, may I ask why? Because I thought you were interested in growing your channel, but apparently not. I'm thinking, what? Go away. You know, you just want me to peddle some little piece of junk? But anyways. John Bloodworth says, I love James Prigioni. I'm going to be doing a parody of him on my gardening channel at Johnny Appleseed Agriculture. That is funny. Johnny Appleseed, are you in Fort Wayne? I can imagine a parody of him would be pretty funny because he's very animated. It would be easy to make a caricature of somebody so animated. Someone could do a parody of me. That would be funny. I would not take offense whatsoever. Tony says, absolutely it will. This is the most awesome channel on YouTube. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that kind of support. Definitely. And yeah, it will be, no doubt. Ooh, yeah. Okay, James has got 1.2 million. Man, it seems like just the other day he had like 390,000 when yeah, when the algorithm says it's time for you to blow up, it's time for you to blow up. Yeah, but until then, nothing. Natalie Dumont, $9 Canadian. Thank you, my friend. If you have a question, I can't see it. Again, it has a big sticker says, let's celebrate their third super on a live stream. Thank you for that, my friend. Yeah, Teats and Treats says, I grow tomatoes in 5-gallon buckets because I have to in San Francisco in my greenhouse. Wish I could grow in the dirt. Yes, in those circumstances, no problem. And so that's for those kind of people, that's what I'm going to make the video for. Definitely. And I'll give updates through my Instagram. I'll give updates on and the shorts on how they're all doing. John Bloodworth, it writes itself. Yeah. Yeah. St. Max Media says, power to you, Nate. Happy about your transformation. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, me too. Definitely. I'm glad you guys are all here, a part of it. Everything is growing. That's what's so wonderful. And if you watch the Thrive Like a Viking channel, then you'll understand that it's multifaceted. It's so much more in-depth. It's so much more all-encompassing than just growing like this. It's, yes. Pam, yes, so supportive, says they just want to use you only, Nate. We are here for you. Love your channel. I appreciate you, Pam, and your unwavering enthusiasm. Seriously. Elizabeth Hendricks, thank you, says, did everyone give the thumbs up? Definitely. Yes. Yes, Big West says they make you feel like you are their only customer and you led them on down the primrose path. I had a logo creator on my case for a moment. Yeah, I know. That's why I stopped asking for it, because as soon as I said something about I'm trying to create a logo, all these people, which is great and everything, but then it's like it's not what they were not what I was looking for, and I didn't want to just keep offending people and stuff. So, yeah. So yeah, Lisa T, no joke, says maybe Prigioni collab during off season. Y'all are busy during growing season. No joke. It is coming. And it's coming earlier this year. I mean, we're still 2 months away, but yet it's like, whoa, it's here. It's here. So, okay. Heather Fox says, I had to walk away for a second. Fungus gnats are taking over my house. Is there anything I can do about that? Or do you have any solutions that you have made that I haven't seen yet? If they are, if they're flying around your house, then they're probably fruit flies. Drosophila melanogaster. That is their name. And you probably are mistaking them for fungus gnats, which are very different. And they have different sources and causes. But if they are actual fungus gnats, then you need to eliminate the food source, which is the fungus. So you need to decrease the moisture, increase the airflow, and water heavily with a lab's solution. And that will help to eat away the fungus. And then but you have to change the environment. You don't just or you can sprinkle cinnamon and stuff on top. Yeah, that kind of works. Sand can also work, but you want to not have to do all that stuff. So, Ginia McDonald, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says happy spring. Yes, yes, yes. Happy to you too. Thank you for the support. Yes, let us see here. Okay, so let's see. Do I have anything else? I usually have huge things that I want to talk about, but there's not so much today. For those of you guys just tuning in or whatever, I just want to show you while it's still alive and still healthy. Look at this big old fat lion's mane. This is what we grow along with the oysters all winter long underneath the microgreens. And these things are super healthy and giving of life. So you want to consume these as often as you can. And it's a good time over the winter time. When there's no plants growing outside, we eat a lot of mushrooms over the winter. Look at them nice trumpets. Beautiful. Yeah, so. Richard Hoof says, Nate, are you still selling milk kefir grains? I never actually was selling them, so I'm not sure how that got misinterpreted. But I'm not selling them, but I did put a link in the description in my Amazon storefront to the kefir grains that I recommend that I have myself. So check that out. Guys, remember, if you want the walking onions, the Valhalla onions, then you can send the $40 payment to any of the CashApp, PayPal, or Venmo, or P.O. Box if you want to do it old school and send a Raven. You can send the cash or check to the P.O. Box, and when you do that, make sure that you add your address. Make sure you give me the address you want the onion sent to. And then in about September time, you'll get a nice care package from us, and it will have the plenty of Valhalla onions for you to start your own patch, and it will also have some Tahitian melon squash seeds from the Viking garden itself. All right. But you have to get on the list because we're not going to take all that many. We're going to take probably between 30 and 50 maybe. So if you want to make sure that you're getting in, get it in. And we're already halfway there, definitely. I mean, we're at like 25 people already, 30. So Jay says, I'm in Southwest Florida. I'm looking for leaf mold under my trees in my woods, mainly pine needles, not that dark soil. If you've got mostly pine forests around you, that's okay, because we don't need the nutrients in that kind of leaf mold. We just need the biology. So if you've got pine forests in your area, pine forest leaf mold is perfectly fine to use. Yes. Makeaway Farm says, Nate, you should make JDOM sulfur and wetting agent and sell it online. I know, I thought about that. I thought about that last year and stuff, but then it just kind of doesn't sit right with me, because Young Sung Chow, who is the founder of JDOM, sort of, he's putting this, he has a book and a method and stuff, but he's really giving this knowledge away, like in the spirit of the earth. And so there's no way that I would feel comfortable with then capitalizing on what he's given away for free. You know what I mean? Those are his recipes. He's done the research and the work, the sulfur and the wetting agent and all that. I didn't come up with that. So I just would not feel right capitalizing on that. And it sort of goes against the whole spirit of JDOM, of do for yourself, super cheap, do it for yourself. And that's the whole sort of ethos, the whole point of it. And so for those reasons, I will never be making and selling any of the JDOM things. But I will eventually make and sell my own stuff, like the Viking granular fertilizer, yes. But that is why I will make videos and continue to support JDOM and continue to put the link to his book in my descriptions and continue to help spread the word, because the spirit is right. His philosophy and the energy behind it is right. So Lucas Alexander, $10. Thank you, my friend. Australian, is that right? Says, I found your channel looking for a fix for my garden. What chemical to purchase next? The methods and your wisdom shared has my garden thriving. Thanks from Australia for sharing your knowledge. You are very welcome, Alexander. Lucas, thank you. Yeah. And so what chemical to buy next? I know. And there comes a time when we just have to stop enslaving the soil, when we just have to say, you know what? We need to go back to the old ways, the real old ways, not the green revolution ways from the last 70 years. No, the old ways. And that's what we need to do. Observe nature and mimic. Stephen Thurman says, I think I might know you or your friends who have a teepee on the farm in NorCal. Was it in Grass Valley? That's funny. No, it was not in Grass Valley. It was in Humboldt. It was in southern Humboldt. But I've been to Grass Valley several times, a couple of mountains there. But a teepee in Northern California on a grow is very, very common. So just saying that. So no, it wasn't me. John Saldana, what's up, my friend? Says, big hug from John in Colombia. A little late, yes. Yes. Tina Chuk says, love your conscience. So naturally slive. Ooh, is slive a word? Nice. I get it either way. Thank you, my friend. Says, keep it up. Definitely. Morena Vongsa says, so humble, Nate. You're the best. That's why we follow you, because of your good nature, and I'm sure you will blow up soon. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you being here. And in my mind and in my heart, we've already blown up. I mean, we're already there. We already, everything is wonderful, and you guys, it's just fantastic. These lives are like my favorite part of the week, where I get to hang out with you guys, and it's just wonderful, man. So the books will be coming out. It didn't get finished this year, but it will be finished next year. The gardening book, everything in its right time. You can't rush it and all of that. So Charlayer says, are you in Humboldt County? Not anymore, but I was, yes. Oh, Tina says, alive. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So naturally alive. Okay, I get it. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Okay, so guys, I think this is it, right? So Okay, one more. Sabrina says, quick question regarding the eggshell acetate. Do I wash the eggshells before I char them? You can, although not necessary. I don't, actually. I don't. Because you just char them real good, and that is going to burn off everything. So, oh, okay. Thank you, Andrea Brown. Let's see. Got the deposit for the walking onions and the $5 gift. Thank you very much. And got your address. Okay, so you're on the list. Guys, it's filling up. It's filling up, no doubt. So get on the list if you want the Valhalla onions, and you will only have to buy them once, because after you get them, you will have them forever. So they're the ultimate perennial onion. You can use them as green onions. You can use them like shallots, and they just keep multiplying. You'll be giving them away to friends and stuff, so it's fantastic, all right? Eden 3D says summer squash in buckets. No, I will not do summer squash in buckets. No. Things that I'll do in the buckets are going to be more probably like I might do, I'll do like a pepper plant, a tomato plant, just to show you guys. Maybe even a cucumber plant. I don't know if I can trellis it right and stuff, but then a couple, maybe like a cabbage, and definitely basil, because that's where the basil goes. So I'm going to do a bunch of basil. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been real, man. I always love hanging out with you guys. Like I said, my favorite part of the week, really. And we will see you guys here next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. And we'll see the Thrive Like a Viking family Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the Thrive Like a Viking channel. That's pretty much it. So guys, it's go time. We're in Northern Indiana and it is go time. You can get everything started pretty much now in Northern Indiana. Okay. 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost. And that's pretty much time you can start everything. Okay. Just yesterday and today, I've started tomatoes and all the cold hardy stuff. We're just starting now, and the onions are popping up. I'm just going to start the ginger. I'm just now going to start the sweet potato slips. Because remember, I mean, I'm not going to say it too many more times, but you want to wait till things are warmer. Everything depends on the temperature. So that's what we want to do. Okay, guys? So Graham, good to see you here, my friend. So yes, says thanks again for a great show. Yes, we will see you guys next time. Jeffrey, hopefully worm farm video soon. Yes, it's coming. Probably next week will be, or maybe the week after, but probably next week.